Thank you for tuning in once again to What in the World is Going On. In this podcast, we're going to discuss America's strategy against BRICS under President Trump, navigating the future. As the global landscape continues to shift dramatically, the emergence of BRICS, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has sparked intense discussion about its implications for America's standing on the world stage. With its growing influence, the BRICS coalition posed both an opportunity and a challenge for U.S. foreign policy. Under President Trump, the strategy toward these nations has evolved, reflecting a mix of confrontations, negotiations, and an assertion of American interests. As we navigate this complex geopolitical terrain, dissecting the motivations behind America's approach to BRICS, the potential repercussions for international relations, and the long-term vision for balancing power in a rapidly changing world is essential. In this post, we will discuss and explore the strategies, policies, and diplomatic maneuvers that define America's response to BRICS under President Trump's leadership, offering insight into how these developments may shape the future of the global politics. To give you a better understanding of BRICS and its objective, BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, represents a coalition of emerging economies aiming to enhance their global influence. Formed in 2006 as a grouping of 4 nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and later expanded to include South Africa in 2010. BRICS serves as a platform for cooperations across various sectors, including economic development, cultural exchange, and political dialogue. At its core, BRICS seeks to challenge Western powers' dominance in global governance and financial systems, promoting a multipolar world where emerging economies can assert their interests more effectively. The group aims to reform international financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank to better reflect the current economic landscape and to provide more equitable access to resources and investment opportunities for developing nations. In addition to economic collaboration, BRICS emphasizes the importance of sustainable development, social equity, and environmental protection. The alliance strives to pool resources to tackle global challenges, including climate change, health crises, and security threats. By fostering partnerships amongst its member states, BRICS endeavors to create a counterbalance to existing power structures, championing the voice of nations that have historically been marginalized in international affairs. As the world grapples with shifting geopolitical dynamics, understanding the objectives of BRICS is crucial for comprehending the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Under President Trump's administration, America's foreign policies has faced the task of addressing this rising coalition ambitions while safeguarding its own interests and maintaining its influence in a changing global landscape. America's historical relations with the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have been complex and multifaceted, shaped by a myriad of political, economic, and social factors over the decades. Each country within this coalition carries a unique history in its relationship with the United States, often influenced by both cooperation and contention. Beginning with Brazil, the U.S. has experienced a roller coaster of diplomatic relations, characterized by periods of strong partnership, particularly in trade and regional security, with moments of disagreement over environmental policies and social issues. The two nations have collaborated on various fronts, from tackling climate change to addressing trade barriers, reflecting a mutual interest in strengthening ties. In contrast, the relationship with Russia has historically been fraught with tension, particularly during the Cold War. The dissolution of the Soviet Union opened a new chapter, with efforts to foster cooperation in various fields, yet underlying suspicions have resurfaced in recent years, especially regarding geopolitical conflicts and cyber warfare. The U.S. has consistently sought to balance engagement with caution, recognizing Russia's significant global influence. India represents a more nuanced narrative. The U.S. and India have witnessed a remarkable transformation in their relationship since the late 1990s, evolving from a period of estrangement to a burgeoning partnership characterized by strategic cooperation in defense, trade, and technology. This shift underscores a shared interest in counterbalancing China's rising power in the region. China's relationship with the U.S. has been one of both competition and collaboration, initially marked by a strategic opening in the 1970s. The relationship has grown increasingly contentious in recent years due to trade imbalances, intellectual property theft, and military tensions in the South China Sea. While economic interdependence has created a framework for dialogue, the rising tide of nationalism in both countries has complicated the interactions between these two global giants. Lastly, South Africa has served as a pivotal player within the BRICS framework, with its relationships with the U.S. shaped by historical ties dating back to the anti-apartheid movement. The current partnership focuses on promoting democracy, development, and economic cooperation, despite occasional divergence on issues such as trade and human rights. In summary, America's historical relationship with the BRICS nations reveal a tapestry woven from threads of cooperation, competition, and evolving strategies. Understanding these complex dynamics is crucial as the U.S. navigates its position within the global landscape under President Trump, particularly in crafting a cohesive strategy to engage these influential nations in the face of shifting geopolitical reality. Under President Trump's administration, the approach toward BRICS, an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, was marked by a distinctive and assertive strategy that sought to realign America's position on the global stage. Recognizing the growing influence of these nations in international affairs, Trump's strategy focused on counterbalancing their power through a combination of economic, political, and diplomatic tools. One of the key elements of Trump's strategy was an emphasis on bilateral trade agreements rather than multilateral partnerships. Of negotiating individual deals, particularly with key BRIC nations like India and Brazil, the Trump administration aimed to secure more favorable terms that would bolster America's economic interests while simultaneously putting pressure on these countries to adhere to the U.S. standards in trade practices and intellectual property rights. Another significant strategy was a robust stance on China, which was viewed as the most formidable competitor within the BRICS group. Trump's administration employed tariffs and trade negotiations to confront what they perceive as unfair trade practices amid aiming to reduce the trade deficit and protect American jobs. This approach was coupled with efforts to build alliances with other nations, particularly in the Asian Pacific region, to counter China's expanding influence. Additionally, Trump focused on energy independence played a crucial role in his strategy toward BRICS by promoting the U.S. as a leading energy producer, particularly in oil and natural gas. The administration sought to diminish the leverage that resource-rich BRICS nations, particularly Russia and Iran, held in global energy markets. This not only aimed to stabilize energy prices, but also to foster stronger ties with allies who could benefit from an American energy export. Moreover, the Trump administration was keen on highlighting human rights issues, especially in countries like China and Russia. Drawing attention to these matters, Trump sought to rally international support against authoritarian practices and promote a narrative of American values versus governance styles of BRICS nations. In summary, President Trump's strategy toward BRICS were multifaceted, combining economic negotiations, energy independence initiatives, and a focus on human rights. These approaches not only aim to mitigate the influence of BRICS countries, but also sought to reaffirm America's role as a dominant player in global affairs, navigating the complexities of a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape. Navigating the complex landscape of global trade and economic relations in the context of American strategy against BRICS under President Trump presents both challenges and opportunities. The BRICS coalition, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has emerged as a formidable entity in the world stage, collectively representing a significant portion of the global economy. As the U.S. seeks to reinforce its economic standings, understanding the implications of this strategy is crucial. One immediate impact of America's approach to BRICS is the reshaping of trade dynamics. The U.S. may employ tariffs, trade agreements, and diplomatic negotiations aimed at curbing the growing economic influence of BRICS nations. This could lead to a reorientation of supply chains as American companies seek to reduce dependence on countries within the BRICS bloc, particularly amid geopolitical tensions. Such shifts could also drive innovation within the U.S. as companies pivot to alternative markets and explore new partnerships. Furthermore, the evolving relationship between the U.S. and BRICS nations could lead to heightened competition, especially in sectors like technology and natural resources. For instance, the push for renewable energy may see the U.S. vie for leadership against China, which has made significant strides in this area. This competition could spur economic growth domestically, but also risk escalating trade disputes, influencing global markets' ability. On a broader scale, America's strategy might encourage other nations to reassess their own economic alliances. Countries that previously leaned toward BRICS may find themselves caught in a tug-of-war between those emerging economies and traditional Western powers. This realignment could create a ripple effect, altering global trade routes, investment flows, and economic policies. In summaries, as America navigates its strategy against BRICS under President Trump, the impact on global trade and economic relations will be profound and multifaceted. The outcomes will not only define the future of U.S.-BRICS interactions, but will also shape broader global economic landscape for years to come. President Trump's administration continued to navigate the complex landscape shaped by the emergence of BRICS, an alliance of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Its impact on the U.S. foreign policy is becoming increasingly apparent. The future implication of America's strategy against this formidable bloc could redefine not only bilateral relationships, but also the dynamics of global geopolitics. One significant area of focus is the economic sphere, where the U.S. may adopt a more aggressive stance to counteract BRICS' influence on global trade. With countries like China positioning themselves as economic powerhouses, the Trump administration may prioritize trade agreements that favor American interests and counteract what it perceives as unfair competition. This could lead to an increase in tariffs, trade negotiations that emphasize reciprocity, and a renewed commitment to supporting domestic industries, potentially sparking trade wars that reshape alliances. Moreover, the strategic partnerships within BRICS will likely push the U.S. to enhance its own alliances, particularly with nations that feel threatened by the bloc's growing cohesive, strengthening ties with traditional allies in Europe, Asia, and beyond could become a focal point of U.S. foreign policies as the administration seeks to build a coalition that can effectively respond to BRICS initiatives. This may involve increased military cooperation, joint exercises, and intelligence sharing agreements designed to bolster regional security. In addition to economic and military strategies, the U.S. may also emphasize the promotion of democratic values and human rights as a counter-narrative to BRICS countries often criticized for their authoritarian regimes. By spotlighting issues such as governance and civic freedoms, the Trump administration could position itself as a champion of democracy, aiming to win the hearts and minds of both domestic and international audiences. Furthermore, America's environmental and climate policies may need reevaluation in light of BRICS' collective stance on such issues. As China and India grapple with their own development challenges, the U.S. could seize the opportunity to lead on climate initiatives that align economic growth with sustainable practices, fostering partnerships that undermine BRICS' environment narratives. Ultimately, the implications for the United States foreign policy under President Trump are vast and multifaceted. As America recalibrates its approach to confront the growing influence of BRICS, the interplay of economic strategies, military alliance, democratic promotion, and environmental initiatives will shape the contours of international relationships for years to come. How effectively the United States can navigate this tumultuous landscape may well determine its role as a global leader in the 21st century. Conclude our exploration of America's strategy against BRICS under President Trump, it becomes increasingly clear that we are witnessing a pivotal moment in the establishment of a new world order. The rise of BRICS, comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has shifted the dynamics of global power, challenging the long-held dominance of the United States and its allies. In response, Trump's administration has emphasized a blend of economic competition, strategy alliances, and a recalibration of foreign policies. Navigating this landscape requires not only a keen understanding of the geopolitical shifts, but also a commitment to fostering innovation and resilience within the U.S. economy. The strategies employed will likely involve a dual approach, reinforcing traditional alliances while also engaging with emerging markets in ways that prioritize America's interests. It will be essential for the United States to balance its assertive posture against BRICS nations with diplomatic efforts that seek to address common global challenges such as climate change, trade inequities, and security threats. As we move forward, it will be crucial for policymakers to remain adaptive, leveraging both hard and soft power to maintain influence in a rapidly evolving geopolitical environment. The future will not only demand strategies, foresights, but also a willingness to embrace collaborations in the interconnected world. In doing so, America can navigate the complexities of the New World Order, ensuring that its leadership role remains both relevant and effective in the years to come. Thank you once again for tuning in to What in the World is Going On. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe.